Welcome to the Ascend Your Success podcast. Whether you're just starting out or are a veteran looking to grow your business, you're in the right place. Join us to learn how to achieve financial freedom while working and living life on your own terms. Hear valuable insights, strategies, and interviews with successful entrepreneurs. Get ready to achieve the success you've always dreamed of. Ready? Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Wyatt Reed, and this is the Ascend Your Success podcast. And today I get to interview my friend Nick Orf with REI Printmail, and he's going to teach us how to get more deals and how to get all of the actual work off of you. They're going to do it for you using REI Printmail. Nick, thanks so much for being on. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so thanks for the intro. Like Wyatt said, I'm one of the direct marketing coaches here at REI Printmail. In a nutshell, I mean, we help, if this is for anyone new or already in the group, real estate investors, agents, lenders are prime clients. So we help folks that are flipping homes, that are doing strategies like lease options, sub-twos, all the way to commercial, all kinds of stuff, right? And we send about 3 to 4 million mailers out per month.
Wow.
And then we track that data so we can then give recommendations to people who want to get started. Myself, I mean, I have 4 kids, live a pretty good life. I mean, I do real estate investing on the side. This company has grown from when I started a $3 million business to about a $50 million business in a 4-year time frame. So
Wow.
We're getting big. I mean, we have a lot of employees now and work with just a lot of investors.
So just tell us, like, we've been working together for a few years now. It's been a great partnership. You guys are managing and coaching a lot of our students as well across the North Alabama, Southern Middle Tennessee area, but we have some in Georgia, Florida, South Carolina areas as well. Y'all do it nationwide, essentially, and you guys have all of the KPIs and the data to help us, especially like new investors, to make good decisions on where to hit, who to hit, to get the most out bang for your buck. Essentially, what does that look like to work with you guys? Say I'm brand new, I hear myself talking or somebody else talking about REI Printmail. What does it look like to work with you guys, and how does that all work?
Yeah, great question. We're data driven, so we do want, I mean, that's the main purpose of using us, right? And I think that's why you use us. If you know what works from start to finish, you know the mail piece you want to send, you're pulling your data, like you have everything figured out, like any other company but us is great, right? Because you'll get better pricing. Like we're a bit more premium than most companies. We help with, I mean, when we start with a client, we're going to go over your market, right? So it's first, what does it take to get a deal is what we need to find out. So we're going to do kind of a quick market analysis. So for example, let's say, I don't know, Tennessee, on average, it's about $2,500 to get a deal. So we set a lot of your students up with what we call the small batch campaign, and we can get that out over about a 3-month period. I just got off the phone with John Whittle. I think he's one of your clients.
Mm.
And he locked up a deal and made $60K on it. They wholetailed it, listed it, and they just closed this morning. So we set up a new campaign. So a lot of it looks like that, where we're doing kind of incremental steps in the beginning to get the first deal, and then we grow from there. But we go over your market, what it takes to get a deal, so we can kind of backtrack into a plan that fits, your budget, your timeline. We look at what data sets are performing, right? There's usually 2 or 3 in a market that are doing well. And then we go into what mail pieces perform best on that demographic. Maybe it's a check mailer, maybe it's a postcard. It could be anything, right? But we just look at, anecdotal data, KPIs, all this stuff we have to kind of connect the dots and say, okay, this is what we need to send to these people. And based on your budget, we can do a campaign for this long, and you should have the expectation of getting a deal, within this time frame.
Mm-hmm.
So we do that with every client, the marketing analysis call. And then we do have a new workflow. What is a workflow? A workflow is just, what does it take to process an order from finalizing everything, like me and the client, and collect payment, to that mail actually shipping out the door and continue to ship out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So for the longest time, I guess the last 8 or 9 years, we've had the same workflow, which is, I'll be honest, it's not completely archaic, but there's a lot of people involved that have to
Mm.
touch your order. Like if you walk through this place, there's people running around all over. There's PMs, there's designers, there's, you know, two buildings is just printers and people managing that stuff. So when someone typically places an order with a mail company, you have to go through a proofing process, and you know, if you make any changes, because a lot of this is template based, it causes delays. And it's really common where someone gets a proof to go over and approve and then get it out the door. They go, well, I'd like to make this little edit, or I'd like to,
Mm.
you know, update my phone number. And what they don't realize is that has to go back through the queue again, touch a few hands, and then get to a new proof to then confirm with the client. So you lose 2 or 3 days when you do that each time. And sometimes
Right.
people will do it and they just get into this like death loop. Like
Yeah.
and then, you know, 3 weeks go by and they're just now mailing to that data. So the new workflow is, it kind of removes all that. It's mail automation, and
Mm.
it's 100% template based. So you can make edits, but like no one does, because it again would slow down the process. So with the new workflow, like if you placed an order today and you said, "Hey Nick, I want to get this going," like I would have it out the door this Thursday. It's pretty quick.
Oh, wow.
A 2 to 4 day turnaround time. And then also too, in the past, we've always had pricing is based off the quantity you sent, right? So bigger players, if they sent 10, 20, 30,000 mailers, they get a bunch of price discounts as they go up.
Hmm.
But then the little guys who want to send, you know, a couple hundred pieces every week, or you're kind of stuck paying the extra cost because all the setup and breakdown through that old manual process. So the nice thing is that everyone gets the discounted rate of what you would, you know, what someone would buy 10,000 mailers at. They'll get the same unit cost there as if they sent out 200 pieces a week.
Wow.
And so you actually get cheaper pricing on the workflow because of that. And we're able to do more consistent mailings. So you have a better, the lead flow, the calls coming in are more consistent. They're on this, you know, just trickling in every week.
Hmm.
You can still do pay as you go. And with all of that kind of being available to us now, we also include KPI tracking for clients. Like students of yours, if they want to track their KPIs, it's free for the first 60 days, and then it's $397 thereafter. Like I said prior, in any market, there may be 2 or 3 top performing mail pieces we see working,
Hmm.
and then 2 or 3 sets of data that are doing really well. So it's a good idea to test that. You know, you test mailer 1 and mailer 2 on data set 1, and mailer 1, mailer 2 on data set 2. And at the end of the month, during the first 30, 45 days, we can see the stats on those and make adjustments. And usually I mean, it's significant. It can push response rates up by 0.5%. It can shave off certain portions of the budget that are underperforming, all kinds of stuff. So that's why we give you the first 60 days at no charge. So
Yeah.
if you do like it, you can continue it. If not, then we can cut it. But the idea is that basically the campaigns are set up long term, right? So if you plan on
Hmm.
investing long term and you want to be consistent and you want to keep hitting that market, a campaign will run basically indefinitely. It will automatically refresh the data. And as we check on the stats on a, you know, monthly or quarterly basis, if it's performing well, then we keep it live. And if it's not, then we'll cut it out. And that's how we're able to grow accounts to pretty large accounts where they're doing multiple deals a month pretty quick, and keep the mail consistent so they don't have these lags in between their mailings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's huge. Consistency is obviously the number one thing that we're looking for, and I think with the new deal flow or process flow that you have, like that really fix some of those issues. Because like you said, we had people that were always wanting to critique, and then it was a couple of days, and then they would lose the proof would go into their spam, and then it would take 3 days for them to realize, oh, it was in my spam, so now I got to approve it, and Now I got to
Yeah.
wait another 3 days. And so what you're saying is essentially you go in and use this link essentially because, if you go through us, you get a 10% discount on your mailer, right? On your first campaign. You go through, I think it's reiprintmail.com/launch/Main Street. I'll put the link in the notes or the comments. You book a call with Nick. You'll sit down. You'll talk about your market. You'll talk about what's working, what's not. How much is it going to cost to get a deal? Okay, well, do you want like one deal a month, a deal every other month? How many deals you want a year? And you'll set it up. And essentially, now with the new workflow, it runs, right? You can stop it month to month. However, that if it's not working, or you're not getting the amount of calls in that you want, you can call up Nick, schedule another appointment. You can look at what's going on, your own KPIs, and discuss, changing it. But it's all done on the fly. So now, instead of having to wait another month for them to drop, and then you're a month behind, it can all be done just pretty much as soon as you get with you, right?
Yep. I mean, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much all of it. And actually, can I share my screen with you? Because I can
Yeah,
show you
I think so.
a something that would, I think, help make more sense of this. So I'm going to show you a client that I just set up about 2 months ago. He's hitting right at the border of North Carolina and South Carolina. And we did exactly what I kind of just mentioned. We did the two top performing list types and then the top two mail pieces we see working in that market and
Are you
did a
sharing your screen?
no, let me share with you.
Okay.
All right. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah. So here's an example on the new workflow. So the client's monthly budget. Now this is a bit different, but same applies to any budget. If it's $1,000 a month, 2,000, it's all relevant. He does about 7K a month, and some of your students in the group have worked up to actually more than that. But we did the two top list types, which was invisible, which is seniors 65 years of age or older, tired landlords, and then the smart AI. It's a stacked list that's run through modeling. And then we tested the check mailer and then a offer postcard on it. So you can see that the check mailer on the invisible list it's doing a 2.33% response rate. And the offer mailer, the postcard, is doing a 2.63.
Mm.
Right? So they're both great and they're not significantly different. So we would have a discussion of, how are the calls doing on these? Are they just high response rates and shitty calls, or are you getting good feedback? Are you closing deals?
Right.
And then we decide if we want to keep them or not. Ideally, we'd probably keep them both. And then on the smart AI list, we had the postcard is doing a 1.6 and the check is doing a 0.93. Both are still pretty good. Anything over a 0.8 is great.
Right. Right.
For the most part. But the fact that he's getting, about 30 to 40% more off this postcard data combination, it may make sense to cut this $3,000 or $3,200 and then move it into this campaign.
Yeah.
And get 30 more, 30, 40% more calls on the same spend.
Yeah. So when you say a 2% rate or a 1% rate, that's for every 100 postcards you send out, you're getting probably 2 calls or 1 to 2 calls, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 1% on 1,000 mailers, that's 10 phone calls.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, just seeing this alone is like for me when I sent my first postcard campaign, I done it by myself. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and I didn't know what I needed to send, who I needed to send it to, and I just done it, and I didn't get a single deal on it. And just seeing like this right here, it obviously shows like let the professionals do what the professionals do, and you need to be focused on closing deals, right? So there's a lot that goes into this if you want to do it properly. Now, another question that I have is like, obviously you said these guys were spending $7,000, $3,000, $5,000. What does it look like to do a small batch, or can you do like a custom? Like, can someone just come in and say, hey, I want to do my budget's $100 a week? Is that possible, or is it for more advanced people?
No, not at all. So the KPI tracking, this doesn't make sense if we're trying to get the first deal,
Hmm.
right? So we'll go back and pull what we know to work and work with you to get the first deal. And then because right, this is kind of a trial period and you want to make sure that you're in a position to continue scaling up. So tracking, if that's what's on the table, like you got a deal and you're going to continue moving forward, then
Hmm.
it makes sense to start dialing things in even further. Um, but out the gate, because this is $397 a month after the first 60 days. So that, along with KPIs, are not accurate unless you have decent sample sizes,
Right.
right? If you had let's say each one of these are 4 campaigns, mailer and data combinations. If you had a monthly spend of say 100 or 200 bucks per, you would still need to get to a point where about $1,500 worth are on doors to you to
Hmm.
look at stats and say, okay, these are close enough to make decisions on. So it'd take you 6 months at that spend to
Right.
even utilize this tool. It just wouldn't make sense.
Right.
So
Yeah. So you got to do, essentially you got to do what you got to do like in the beginning to hustle, get your first deal. Like, you can do it. You can utilize a smaller amount. It's just you got to realize that it's going to take longer, right? So you should obviously be doing stuff with this. If you're going to do like a small batch postcard campaign, don't just sit there and twiddle your thumbs and wait for deals to come in or calls to come in, right? Be looking for other like free marketing, right? And get with wholesalers, network with wholesalers, talk with agents, like spend your time while you're waiting on these to hit doors and take phone calls, speaking to other people about doing like free lead generation as well, right? Don't
yeah,
just have this one thing going.
yeah, no, 100%. And this is a great, and so just to back up real quick. So you guys, the clients can still use this, anyone in the group can still use the new workflow. It's just mail and data that's processed through there. So it's faster. They get the better pricing. It's weekly drops. So for most clients or the students who do small batch campaigns, that was generally 1,000 mailers dropped one time per month for 3 months
Mm,
to get you in front of 3,000 people and get a deal in there somewhere. You can do that same thing on here, except it would drop weekly for you. And you can go down a little bit in budget if needed too. Um, and your pricing is going to be a lot better compared to what it was prior, because we carry on the savings that we get through automation since it's kind of hands off from 20 people touching your order.
right. So what is it essentially like a postcard? I know it's different per postcard or check or letter, right? But usually some people will spend somewhere between 60 cents and let's say $1 per postcard, or
Mhm.
what does that look like?
So yeah, if we go on our website right now, I mean, I'll just pull up one example. So like that yellow "Sorry we missed you" offer postcard,
Mm,
right? That's like 70, I think 71 cents on our website if you do 1,000 mailers of it. Um, Through the new workflow, that same piece is 62 cents per,
wow.
even if you did like 250 a week.
So 62 cents, let's just say at 1,500 mailers a month, that would be $930, right? And then you also get that discount going through us of I think 10%, right? So
Mhm.
that's going to be under $900 for 1,500 mailers, right? So that's
Yeah.
pretty solid deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, and a lot of people were paying on the small batch campaigns we're paying about 800 to $900 for 1,000 mailers a month for 3 months. So
Right.
yeah, over time, I mean, you'll be getting out an extra, a good amount. I mean, 10-15% more mailer for the same cost.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's awesome. Well, we're coming up on time, man. I appreciate you talking through the new workflow and telling us how we can work with you guys. I mean, most of our students are using you guys, and so it works, right? I put off doing postcards for a long time, but man, the only thing I'm kicking myself on is not doing it sooner, right? So. If you're interested in learning more about how we do what we do or working with Nick, just book a call with the link in the notes, or you can go to reiprintmail.com /launch/Main Street, and you can just book a call with him, or you can just go to sellerfinancedeals.com and book a call with me, and we'll get it all figured out, right? So, Nick, man, I appreciate it, and thanks for coming on, man.
Not a problem. Thank you, Wyatt.